Okay, so apparently this died. So hi, my name's Lizzie Breyer, and I'm here to interview Sylvia.
Hi, Liz.
So Sylvia, can you tell me about yourself and how you came to find Faster EFT?
I had, for many years, I was searching for an answer that would address the symptoms that I had, which were depression, back, neck, and shoulder pain. I had insomnia for 5 years, worry and anxiety, panic attacks, racing thoughts like 24/7. Even in my dreams, if I managed to fall asleep, they were so vivid and they kept me busy. Agoraphobia and social anxiety, and all these things started building on themselves.
Yeah,
And
that's a lot to take on.
yes, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And so I had tried all of the conventional methods. I had done chiropractic for over 20 years, acupressure, acupuncture. I did the over-the-counter painkillers and prescriptions. I think there was like 4 or 5 different antidepressants that I tried. Counseling, therapy, massage, Chinese medicine, magnetics, like every conventional thing and every unconventional thing I tried looking for an answer, because I knew there had to be an answer out there that didn't involve drugs or surgery. And through
how did that
go? At most, I would have temporary relief for a day or two, until my next appointment with whomever I was seeing. And it just never provided the complete relief that I was looking for. And I started researching on the internet, various types, and somehow or another I found Robert and his Healing Magic channel. And at the time, I think I started with his 4th, 5th, 6th video, somewhere in there, and I followed him and did the tap-alongs. And they were very helpful, but I think because I had so much experience for so very many years in doing what I was doing, that I really needed to work with a practitioner. And then a situation arose in my life where I went onto the Faster EFT forum, and I asked for help. And that was how I hooked up with Owen Pern. And I love Owen's definition of Faster EFT,
which
is finally the end to feeling terrible.
That's brilliant.
And that was what it felt like for me. It was, our initial sessions, he spent time getting me out of the trance because I was very good at it. I'm a very creative person. And so where one thing can happen that's perceived as terrible, I can turn it into a million things in a split second that are even worse.
Yeah.
And I was very practiced at that, because I was under the belief at that time that if I covered every single scenario, every possible outcome, I could get there before and prevent it. I just needed to try hard enough.
Yeah.
And so working with him, and we worked quite a long time on it, various aspects, and he would also give me assignments, and I would begin to have positive experiences in the real world that then those references were built up rather than my terrible references and worst case scenario references. Like Robert says, whatever it is that you do, that you practice over, you practice it consistently over a period of time and you master it. you become an absolute master in that. And I was the best at worrying. And like I say, doomsday worst case scenarios were my specialty. So Owen got me out of that. The last month or so I have been working with Carmine Gonzalez. And we've worked on some other things. And as we were working on these other things, I started noticing that my neck pain started diminishing. And this was literally after 40 years of trying everything else that I could think of. And it just started disappearing on its own to the point where I don't have neck pain anymore. My shoulder, it is brilliant. My shoulder pain is diminishing. The back pain is diminishing. And I think it's a cumulative effect.
And what other changes have you noticed with Faster EFT?
I'm sorry, what was that?
And what other changes have you noticed with Faster EFT?
My depression has lifted, and I'm willing to say that about a week or so ago, I declared it an I'm no longer depressed day. It was a national holiday in my life. I started noticing.
So that's, I mean, thinking back, we'll go back to that. So thinking back to how you were back then, before you started Faster EFT, to how you are now, what would you say the difference is?
The difference between an absolute mess and something that's starting to get together.
Ah, brilliant.
So I'm sleeping soundly now. I don't have any more of those racing thoughts. My body is calm.
Yeah.
I feel peaceful. I'm in a better mood, and I'm learning to be happy. And initially, and there are still some traces of it, happiness is a very foreign territory for me and hasn't been safe to feel. So I'm working on, encouraging that, learning how to live with
That's
it.
a very good point. I find that a lot of people have that. We sort of say that we want to be happy, and then when it actually comes to experiencing it, quite often it's like, oh, I can only go so far.
That's right, because it is such a foreign thing. But what I've learned through Robert's teaching is that you are responsible for what it is that you're creating within yourself. But that is not a blame. What it is it's more like you can't blame yourself if you don't speak Chinese, if you've never been exposed to Chinese and no one taught you how to do it.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it.
Right. So the references that we have, we've learned. And if we didn't learn good references, it's not our fault that that's what we do. So now that I have this tool, I'm learning other ways of responding which feel a whole lot better. So I've forgiven a whole lot of people, and now it seems like nonsense to have even held on to it.
And has anyone else noticed change in you?
I believe that they have. What I find also with people is they don't really comment unless it's like I dye my hair blonde, then they say, wow. But I've noticed most people don't comment. They don't comment on your bad qualities, and they don't really comment on your good, but after a certain period of time, they kind of look at you differently, and they go, wow, I was expecting something else.
I missed the first bit.
When you're dealing with people, they will, after a period of time, say something like, you're reacting differently. I've noticed that you're reacting differently. But the very first thing that I noticed was in how other people responded to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so, would you recommend this to anyone and everyone? or certain people? How?
Oh, definitely, definitely. This is my go-to tool because you can use it in any situation and you can immediately shift things. You don't have to wait. It is an immediate thing.
Right.
And it is something that empowers you. So you're the one in control of it. You're the one that can use it. You know how you're feeling. And you can diffuse a situation pretty darn quickly just by tapping. And whether you're tapping physically or you're tapping mentally in a situation, they both work right away.
Yeah.
And I would love for everyone to be doing this because it is finally the end of feeling terrible.
Yeah, that's great. And you did say that it wasn't all Faster EFT that helped you, so you might want to say a bit about what else played a role in helping you.
Yes. I was doing and do something called trauma release exercises, and those are just basically, I think it's 7 or 8 stances where you are stressing your core muscles. And then at the very end, you do a stance that releases that. And so because your mind generalizes in your references, it will take all of the associated feelings and traumas and release them that release session. The other thing that I do is something called the Mackenzie method for the back and neck, because being in pain for such a long time, you overcompensate in how you hold yourself and how you walk, how you sleep to accommodate the pain. So you try to find the least painful position, which isn't very good posturally. And so these Mackenzie method, again, I think there's 7 or 8 in the next series, around the same number in the back, and you're just retraining your body into a correct posture.
Brilliant.
Yep. And as these emotional issues get cleared out, my mind becomes clearer because it's not oystering past hurts anymore. And that resulted in my finally being able to meditate.
Wow.
Being actually physically and mentally able to sit quietly and to calm my mind down, that where it was constant thought, constant 24 chatter that was ceaseless. Now it's when I sit down, I might have a thought or 2 or 10, but I'm able to just kind of maneuver around them. I don't entertain them anymore. I think that's what the difference is.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yes, I can see right through them. I realize that it's just a thought I'm thinking. It doesn't make it true. It's just a thought.
Brilliant. So what do you think of Robert Smith, the guy who created Faster EFT?
I love Robert. Oh my God, I love Robert. I think I honestly, I wish that wherever this material and however he put it together in his head, I wish it would have happened 20, 30 years ago, because I know it would have made a difference in my life. I would have made decisions based out of a stronger sense of self and a happier sense of self. And when you make decisions out of fear and pain, the outcomes aren't as good. So if I would have had that tool then, I know I would have lived a different life. And I'm hoping one day to go to one of his seminars, because the way that he presents the material, this is actually a very logical thinking person's method. And if you wanted to, you could sit around and analyze it and understand all of the parts. And for people like myself who are data processors, we love that part of it. However, it's not the thinking, it's the actual doing and experiencing and shifting that makes all the difference.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. That's so important.
Yeah, you don't have to understand how it works, you just need to do it, and it works.
And this
But
is
like,
how so many people get lost in it, isn't it?
yes, yes. If you want to entertain yourself with the logical portion of it, you could do that from now until kingdom come.
Yeah.
But again, that's not where the magic lies. The magic lies in just follow the process, just feel the feelings, and do the tapping. That's where the magic lies.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Sylvia, for sharing how Faster EFT has helped you.
Thank you, Lizzie.
Okay.